Hi, folks. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver, Saturday, the 17th of January, 2026. Kind of a slow news day. Markets are closed for the weekend. We have the holiday coming up on Monday, but the rest of the world, I don't believe, is closed for this holiday, especially China. So let's see what happens when the Globex markets open on Sunday night. Wanted to talk about a couple news bits, specifically first miners. It seems there is a concerted effort now to suppress the movement of miners. It's not correlated to these monstrous increases in silver and gold, though miners did run significantly in 2025. You've got Pan American Silver up 163% in 2025. Many miners up hundreds of percent last year, but they are lagging as of late. Now, I do believe that your normal lazy retail traders, people that are really interested in buying NVIDIA, Palantir, et cetera, at all-time highs and hoping it goes higher and there is no sort of fiscal crisis impending, I think they're just piling into what has worked in the past, not the smartest strategy. But I also think there is an effort, a concerted effort by whatever forces that be to now suppress these mining stocks. Let's look at core mining. 55 million shares short. That's 10.5% short float of the total shares outstanding. Hecla, 4.32% short float, 28 million shares short. First Majestic, 22 million shares short. Silvercorp, 16 million shares short, though that is down 20% from December. Fortuna, FSM, down 18 million shares short. Now, this is delayed New York Stock Exchange data and does not include off-exchange, dark pool, or Toronto stock market data, but these people are really playing with fire. And as you can see, we had another weekly close above 90 an ounce. And Toronto Dominion Bank, their short position, they are in big, big trouble. So remains to be seen the washout from that. But I think there could be a rubber band snapback effect. Now, we do have earnings season coming up for most of these miners. In fact, First Majestic just reported their fourth quarter results, and did they knock it out of the park? 7.8 million ounces of silver for Q4, 41,000 ounces of gold, 14.2 million ounces of zinc, 8.5 million ounces of lead, 235,000 ounces of copper. That's up 37% year over year, but their silver production is up 77% year over year for Q4. 2026 expectations released by First Majestic, 13 million ounces of silver, 120,000 ounces of gold, 55 million ounces of zinc, 36 million ounces of lead, 1.2 million ounces of copper. You can kind of see the projections. Now, we'll see, of course, we have Core, Hecla, Pan American, Barrick, Newmont, Agnico Eagle, all coming up in February. There's a common theme, though. Record revenues, record cash flow, massive earnings. The spread between the mining cost and what they are now getting per ounce in sales for their record production, these miners are firing on all cylinders. Why would you go invest in Celsius sewer water with astronomical PEs or Kratos or Palantir or Mag 7s that are at all-time highs when you can invest in silver miners that are showing record profits, revenue, cash flow, great balance sheets, etc., low PEs, great price to book numbers? Now, of course, you do have to be careful because they are extremely volatile. You need your stop losses and you need to watch it like a hawk. For most people, I would recommend PSLV or the Sprott funds, not SLV, PSLV, but Sprott funds, indexes, ETF, little safer, little more diversified, but that's what I would recommend. A couple interesting news bits. Mark Carney, PM of Canada, former governor of the Bank of England, didn't even live in Canada from 2013 to 2020. He's now running things. He just had a really amicable meeting with Xi from China announcing a new strategic partnership with China. This includes trade, agriculture, resources, commodities. Canada is going to remove tariffs, import 50,000 EVs per year because he's very concerned about the environment. They're going to put these EVs on freighter ships and ship them over to Canada instead of buying EVs that are made 20 miles south of the border in Detroit or wherever in America. In exchange, China is going to buy canola oil, which is poison, from Canada. And I guess they still cook with canola oil in China. But this new strategic partnership, decoupling from the U.S., a lot of consternation between Trump and Carney, et cetera. So that's an interesting one to watch. And the resource wars continue. Another interesting bit, Scott Ritter was on Napolitano, Judging Freedom. He was debanked. The Department of Justice or whoever zeroed out all of his accounts in Citizens Bank. He went to a gas station, was not able to fill his truck with gas. They removed it. He was flagged. Some sort of behavior. The DOJ put some sort of flag on him. DOJ Barbie, also known as Pam Bondi, hasn't arrested anybody, with concerned with Epstein or any other myriad crimes that people have been raging about for the last 5 years. But they have debanked Scott Ritter out of Citizens Bank. A little concerning. You hold a lot of cash in these banks that operate off the fractional reserve system. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd rather hold physical at home, and God forbid there is an electric grid shut down or you are debanked because you said the wrong thing. Scott Ritter, former Marine, weapons inspector, he's been at war with the U.S. government for 34 years, and he's been going on tirades against further war against Iran, Yemen, Gaza, etc., and then sending all of our tax dollars for all of these proxy wars. And so he's been targeted, debanked. That was interesting. But yeah, we're going to continue to keep an eye on these markets. The U.S. Mint with that astronomical price increase from 89.91 up to $1.73. Chinese pandas, according to Eric Young, are now selling for 177 a troy ounce in U.S. dollars overseas. So it looks like they're following suit. It may be unobtainium soon, but if you've been stacking, it is gratifying to see that your thesis is coming true. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Full Bore Silver, please like, subscribe, share. Thanks.